All right. Hello. I am Mrs. Galbencia, and I'm here to talk to you about AP Physics. Let me get all my sharing set correctly. I apologize for not being there in person. I had a cross country trip planned before we knew that back to school night was going to be this Thursday. So I am in Washington State. I wanted to give you the information that you needed for your kids and for this class, though. So I hope that this video is helpful. If you have any questions after watching this video, please feel free to reach out. If you don't get a response within 24 hours, it means that your email might have gone to my junk, and Canvas message is always super easy to send, and I always get those. So anyway, let me get down to the brass tacks of this. Welcome to AP Physics 1. I am Miss Amanda Galbencia. I'm your AP Physics 1 teacher here at the Village School. Slideshow. Like, which screen am I on? Okay, so first of all, my teaching philosophy. I've been a physicist for a long time. I've been teaching now for 16 years. And one thing that I have learned in my career is that every student can learn physics. Some students may take longer and they may need more support. So, my role is to figure out what type of a student you have and meet them halfway to where they are. For some students, that means that I'm going to travel a little further than for others. And so, I would like to set it up so that you and I work together to be sure that your student is successful. My role is to meet them where they are, to gauge what they need, and to communicate with you, the parent. Their role is to engage in class, engage with you, reflect with you, ask questions, and advocate for their education. A course overview. This is a college level course in a high school classroom. It's algebra based physics. I do include a tiny bit of calculus here and there just to push the kids and give them a little more understanding as they head towards IB. But it is algebra based at its core. We focus a lot on our conceptual understanding of physics and our problem solving. The majority of the course is inquiry based, meaning we let the students have the equipment, we let them try it out on their own. There's a lot of struggling, but it's positive struggling. And in struggle, we learn. And then there's a ton of collaboration. Lab work is a collaboration activity. And I say and giggle all the time, it takes a village to do physics. So we work together and we work often using our brains, asking questions. It means also sometimes that the instructions might not be given to them as clearly as they would like. That is done on purpose. We want them to make mistakes so that they learn from those mistakes. However, if you ever feel that they are struggling to more of a degree than what I'm describing now, please feel free to reach out. At its core, though, this is an inquiry level intro physics class. AP Physics is one of the harder AP courses, but we have a really strong record here at the Village School with an 86% pass rate for AP Physics 1 and a 100% pass rate for AP Physics Calculus based. So we're in great hands here. My class expectations. It's a professional learning environment. We expect the students to be professional students. There is daily practice and participation. They should bring their brains, their calculators, and their materials every day with the intent to work. We practice respectful, safe, and engaging classroom procedures and practices. And it's a fun area to be in. We just really enjoy ourselves in our physics classroom. Textbooks. Our digital textbook is through Achieve. It is an all-inclusive material, meaning it has the textbook. There are videos embedded for the students who struggle. There are interactive simulators that are embedded in the textbook. It also will function as an audiobook. So if your student is more of an auditory learner, they can turn on the audiobook function of the textbook and let it read to them. We also have assigned reading before class. Every class, I tell them what section of the textbook they should read. They read it at home, take notes in their notebook, however they like to take notes. Everyone has their own style, and then they bring those notes to class. I'll be doing reading checks with them. I call them reading check quizzes, but they are not in the assessment category. They are a formative assessment. So it's a spot check to see if they're reading and how they're doing on the basic concepts of the class. When I give them those reading checks, I allow them to use their notes so that they can show, hey, I did do my reading and it was really new and I may not remember everything, but look, I did it and I wrote it down and now you're asking me questions about it. And it just leads to more understanding in the lectures. We also have OpenStax Physics through Rice University. That's a free textbook. So if for some reason our Achieve textbook is not working, or maybe they would like to read the section in a different language, they can go to that free OpenStax textbook. Late work policy, I won't spend too much time on this because it is the same for the whole building, or for the whole village. The only difference is we do not take off 30% immediately upon our due date in the physics department. We give them 10% per day up to 3 days. So if a student is not able to turn in their work on time, if they turn it in 1 day late, they'll only lose 10%. If they turn it in 2 days late, they'll lose 20%. 3 days late, they'll lose 30%. Anything after 3 days, the homework is not accepted and it is a zero in the grade book. You can request extensions for homework. To request an extension for the homework, the request must be done prior to the due date, and they must upload their work as is to Canvas on the due date to show that they're trying and that they're not just requesting the extension because they didn't do their work. If I notice that a student has not turned in their work and the due date has passed, I typically will send a Canvas message. It's a auto-populated message that will say no submission for blank assignment, and you'll know that they need to turn that assignment in. Your grade breakdowns are summative assessments. Those are our exams. That's 40%. Practical work, those are our labs. It's 25% of the course, and so it's 25% of their grade. Formative assessments, those are our online homeworks, our warm-ups, activities in class, anything that's not going to take a significant period of time. Those are 15%. And then we'll have a semester exam at the end of the fall semester. That's 20%. In the springtime, the students can exempt the spring semester by taking the AP Physics exam. So they will not have to take two summative exams in the spring. Units of study, we start with kinematics, which is the study of how things move. Then we move to forces and dynamics, why things move. And then we'll move into the properties of matter that allow physics to take place: work, energy, power, momentum, rotation, oscillations. And this is the second year that we've had fluids in our curriculum, which is really exciting for a physics nerd like me. We finish off the year with fluids. Now, the way the calendar is set out, we try to finish all of the curriculum before spring break at the very latest so that they have a significant period of time to study for their mock exam, which takes place in April at the beginning. And then they'll have at least 2 months to review their mock exam and study for the actual AP exam. Actually, I'm going to back that up. I'm going to scratch that. They've moved the AP exam to the first week this year, so they won't have as much time. Our AP exam is a little earlier this year, but I do try to give at a minimum 6 weeks of review time after the mock exam. So you'll notice as we're going through the curriculum itself, it's a fast and furious pace. And when the students are struggling, try to remind them that this is the beginning of their learning period and they are not expected to be experts at it. The review time is when we're going to really cement that knowledge in. Another thing I would like for you to express to your students, if this is a college class and a 50% mastery is what is appropriate for their grade level and their age. So our curves in this class reflect that. 50% mastery in a college level physics class is impeccable for students of their age and skill. So we can talk more about grades on a one-on-one basis. And I invite you to reach out to me the minute that you are concerned. Please don't wait until it adds up. Okay. I am an open book. I'm happy to talk to you about your student anytime you want to talk to me about them. All right, so the hands-on lab, I already talked about that a little bit, so I'm going to just say that we would like your students to maintain a notebook for class. It should hold their notes and their labs. The labs can be done in the same notebook as their notes. They don't have to have two separate ones. AP exam, I'll give way more information about this as we get closer to it, but I will say that if your student is registered for this class, the expectation is that they take the AP exam. This is an AP exam prep course. The exam is in May. It is 3 hours total. They're allowed to use a calculator, and a score of a 3 can earn them college credit. Again, I'll go through that more in depth, and this slideshow will be shared on my Canvas so that you can look through that. I'm going to skip a couple of slides. All right, supports, because this is what's most important. Some supports that you're going to tell your students to look through when they're struggling. AP Classroom is going to be one of the most helpful supports for you. The people who write the exams and train the teachers who grade the exams, that's me. I'm one of 200 that goes to Florida every summer to grade the AP exams. They are the ones who run AP Classroom. They're the ones who write the questions and do the videos. And I recommend that when your students have finished the coursework, that they go out of their way to watch the AP Classroom videos just to help cement that knowledge. I do not score them on anything in AP Classroom because it is meant to be a supplemental resource and not something that they are required to do, but I highly recommend it. Another resource is the Khan Academy AP Physics 1 course. It is aligned to the course I teach, and it's a valuable resource. My favorite is flippingphysics.com. This gentleman is another AP reader like myself, and he has spent the last 10 to 15 years developing an amazing AP1 YouTube channel, and his videos are great. You, as parents, might honestly find some of them very entertaining. And then myself, I'm your number one resource. My office hours are 7:30 to 8 a.m. and 3:30 to 4 p.m. every day except for Wednesday. I do commute a significant distance to teach at the village. So, and I'm also a professor at Houston Community College. There are several days a week that I leave at exactly 4 o'clock to make it to my 5:30 class. If you want to meet with me, just let me know. We will find a time that works for everyone and make an appointment, and I will do my best to always make room. We've already really talked about the things that I want them to do to be successful, but daily practice is important even on the days that they aren't meeting with me. At the beginning of every chapter, I release all of their homework assignments and Achieve. Rest assured that they're only 3 to 5 questions each, and they're worth very few points in the grade book. They also are able to do those questions over and over until they get them right with minimal penalty, but they want to be doing those practice problems daily to keep supplementing what they're learning in class, and that way they're not forgetting the skills. They would should come and ask their questions early and often. It's not useful to wait until the day before the test. If they have a question, they can send a Canvas message to ask the question, and there's a discussion board called Ask the Physicists, because we're all physicists in this class, where they can go post their question, and then other students can answer or I can answer. They're going to want to annotate and summarize their notes before every assessment and quiz and use their resources and their office hours. Lastly, a private tutor can make a huge difference in a student's ability to understand complex topics like AP Physics. By no means is it necessary for you to go out of your way to get an external tutor, but I do want to let you know that those resources do exist, especially that way you have that in your back pocket in case your student is struggling. It helps sometimes to hear the physics from a second voice. World's Finest Physics is a fellow AP Physics reader. We call ourselves readers, who has developed a tutoring company that matches high school AP Physics students with a high school AP Physics teacher somewhere in the United States. So if you find yourself needing some external tutorials, I can vouch for this site because I know that the tutors are current high school AP Physics teachers, and their prices are very reasonable. I have some local tutor contacts if you would like those. Please fall back on myself before you go and spend money on external tutoring. Um, I will always do my best to help you as much as I can. There's only so many hours in a day, and my number one concern is your student's success. So I want to give you this. But again, it's not necessary that you get a private tutor. I just would like for you to have that. Thank you so much for viewing this video. I am long-winded. If I were there in person, it probably would have stuck to 10 minutes. But I look forward to working with your kids this year. It's a joy to get to know them already. Please let me know anytime you have any questions, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Thank you.